Hello, Internet. It is I, Malik Aaron, and welcome back to Box Office Predictions. Today, we're going to be talking about the 30th anniversary re release of Hocus Pocus. So, as usual, we're going to be going over the pros and cons. So, let's get to it. Pros. So, Hocus Pocus came out 30 years ago in 1993. And when it came out, it didn't do great financially. Apparently, here it's only made like 45 million on a budget, 28 million. That's not ideal, but it did gain an audience over time and is now considered to be like a classic Halloween movie. Like when you think of movies to watch on Halloween that don't involve blood and gore, this is pretty high on the list. So, yeah, it's gained a big following and people love it to this day. So, yeah, so obviously the reputation of Hocus Pocus, that's a pro, obviously. So that's pro number one. Pro number two is the 30th anniversary, 30 years, that's a long time. And when you do like anniversaries, like usually they have to end with like a zero or a five, like 15th anniversary or 25th or 20th or 30th, something like that. And what a lot of movies like to do, or a lot of studios like to do, is they like to capitalize on that and like re-release their movies to make like a few extra dollars. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I'd say it's not a bad idea. It makes sense. So yeah, I would label like the 30th anniversary of this movie. I label that as a positive, so that's a pro. And I don't know. Is that I guess there's the fact that the Hocus Pocus brand is more relevant than ever because like last year they released Hocus Pocus 2 on Disney Plus and that apparently did well there, so the brand's alive and well, I guess. I don't know. But I might as well mention that. So I guess that's a pro. That's more of a minor pro if anything. But still a pro. Um I guess this weekend competition isn't exactly extreme. I mean, I got Exorcist Believer, which is going to suffer greatly thanks to terrible, terrible, terrible word of mouth. But that's still going to win the weekend. But everything else is kind of weak. I mean, I guess the only family movie out there right now is Paw Patrol, the Mighty movie. Besides that, it's this movie has nothing really to worry about, or at least not right now. It has nothing to worry about. So, I guess that's a pro. Okay, cons. Ugh. So the thing is, you really don't need to see this movie in theaters. You're better off just watching this on TV or Disney Plus or pirating it, which I don't condone. But if you want to, that's your choice. I'm not gonna stop you. I'm not your dad. Okay. So yeah, there's like so many other ways to watch it. Like this just needs to be like a theatrical experience. Like I don't think so. I mean, like I understand for something like Titanic or Avatar or Jurassic Park, those movies, they benefit being like seen on a big screen because those are big movies. This is way smaller in comparison. So yeah, I feel like because there's so many ways to watch this movie that's not theatrical, you're better off just doing that than spending money to see it in a theater. So yeah, I labeled the fact that you're able to see this was been is widely available in multiple different ways, and it's been that way for years. So that's definitely a con. I guess there's also like a con is that like I don't get like this. What happened with Hocus Pocus is is the same thing that happened with Jurassic World Dominion, where Jurassic World Dominion came out last year, and then the 30th anniversary happened a year later, And then with Hocus Pocus 2 came out last year, and the 30th anniversary is this year. So, like, why not just delay the sequels a year so they come out on the 30th anniversary and it'll be more fitting? Like, it would be more appropriate than doing it like the year before. It's so weird. I do not understand it at all. But yeah, that kind of just feels like a missed opportunity. Like, you could have re released Hocus Pocus and then released the sequel. Like, but instead you did the opposite. You released the sequel first and then re-released the first movie. Like, why? Like, Avatar at least did the right thing and re-released the first movie before the second movie came out. Like, that is logical. What Hocus Pocus did is not logical at all. So, yeah. Yeah, so I'm gonna label that as a con, just like a missed opportunity. And another con is the fact that next weekend is Taylor Swift the Eras Tour. That is going to crush everything in its path. And I feel like this is definitely going to be a victim. So, yeah, dealing with the Taylor Swift Eras Tour, that's going to be a massive, massive problem for pretty much every movie in the marketplace right now. So, that's a con. And yeah, I think that's it. So, opening weekend, man, I don't know. I mean, this is opening like 1,400 theaters, which isn't like a lot, but it's not like a super small amount. But like, what can I even compare this to? You know what? I already used the Jurassic Park comparison. Might as well compare it to that. So, yeah, Jurassic Park, which just got a re-release like 2-ish months ago. I think it was like a little more than a month ago. So let's use that as a comparison. It may take a minute for me to like get to it because this thing has had so many re-releases. There it is. That opened like 1,200 theaters and it had an opening weekend of 1.7 million. Although that came out on National Cinema Day that Sunday, so that comparison is it's not great, but it's all I got. So yeah. I think that number is reasonable for this. Seems reasonable. I think it should at least make it past like $1 million, maybe two if it's really lucky. But I'm gonna say 1 to 2 million just to be safe. So 1 to 2 million opening weekend and a total like I don't know. um, these re-releases don't exactly have long lives, so because they're not really supposed to. So, um, let 5 million or less. It might push the total of this movie past 50 million, maybe, but we'll see, I guess. But yeah, so 1 to 2 million opening weekend, and I guess less than 5 million total, and that's it. That's it for the Hocus Pocus re-release. Not making a video on When Evil Lurks. It'd be a complete waste of time because that's supposed to be in going to Shudder, which is like a horror streaming service, in like 3 weeks. So what's the point? So I'm completely ignoring that. And then this weekend, well, not this week, next weekend, Taylor Swift the Eras Tour. This thing is gonna be a big deal, very big deal. You know, it's gonna be a hit like we haven't seen since Barbenheimer. Like, I'm dead serious. We haven't really had anything big since Barbenheimer. Like, it's kind of sad, but this is gonna change that. So stay tuned for that video next weekend. But if you want to watch any of the past, um, yeah, so yeah, that's it. That's all. Make sure to subscribe, like this video, leave a comment, turn on notifications, share the whole drill. You want to check out any of the past prediction videos I made on the channel. I guess you want to watch any of the past re-releases I've done this year, like Titanic and Jurassic Park. Want to watch any of those? Go right ahead. Or any of the other ones on the channel, that's fine too. If you want to, there's also the canceled series where I go over all the movies that were supposed to come out but didn't. I never covered this once because it wasn't necessary. I didn't even know this was happening. It's like a day or two ago. I saw it on the pop up on the calendar. I was like, oh, all right. I really thought it was just going to be The Exorcist Believer and that's it, but Disney had other plans. So, yeah. So I don't have any cancel episodes about Hocus Pocus, but I've made a recent one, 210, which is about Horizon and American Saga and the Beekeepers. So you want to watch that episode or any other ones I've done on the channel, all 210 episodes, want to binge them all from beginning to now, I highly encourage you to do that, so go do it. There's also box office recaps where I go over the box office results for any particular month. Um, shoot. My September recap will be next week. That's not going to be a fun video to make. This is going to be so sad. I feel like the only happy month I talked about this whole year was July and maybe March. And that's about it. Maybe January is a real stretch. But literally every other month I covered has been mostly negative, and September will be no exception to that. So, yeah, stay tuned for that. But if you want to watch any of the past recap videos I made on the channel, you can go right ahead. And yeah, that's it. That's all. I am out. Goodbye.